Welcome back to another episode of the Playbook here on the Boise Beat. As always, I got my main man Pops with me. Pops, how you doing?
I'm doing good, son.
Good to see you. So let's just start with Thursday night football. We had a shootout over there in B-Town in Baltimore. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. What did you see in that one?
Um, yeah, what a game, man. Baltimore, they're just tough, man. Cincinnati just has not been able to win the close games. Seems like they have to score 40 points just to win a game anymore.
Yeah, they stink. They just stink. There's no way around it. I was big on them coming into this year. Joe Burrow for MVP. And their defense can't even keep other teams from scoring 40 points. They just stink. And I'm
Yeah,
tired of
they
defending
scored
them.
35, but that's not enough. They got to score at least 37.
Yeah, literally. And that's how it was. I think they scored at least 40 the last time they played Baltimore. I'd have to verify that. But Burrow and Lamar Jackson broke records for in 2 total games against each other in a season. The most yards, I think, and touchdown passes total between 2 guys facing each other in the year. So it's just 2 shootouts. Obviously, the Bengals defense couldn't do nothing to stop them at all, especially when it needed to happen. So
Those Bengals now 4-6.
I believe so. Yep, 4-6.
Oh,
So their season's basically over
well,
unless
they got to
they can
win
go on a
5 or 6
6-game
in
win
a
streak.
row.
Yeah, they're gonna have to win either. So they have to win either finish the season 6-1, or at minimum maybe 5-2 and have a shot. But that's still asking a lot. A lot of things have to go right for them for it to play out. Yeah, the last time they played the Ravens, it was 41-38.
Yeah, but I say got to score 40. You're not going to beat them without it.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson has just been unstoppable this year. He might win another MVP, his third MVP, which is crazy to think about because it kind of seems like a year more open than ever. And you're kind of used to seeing this from Lamar. I mean, his stats are actually better than ever, like passing. He's having a career year in passing and
Yeah.
everything else. And if he's won MVP those other years, then you kind of have to give it to him this year when no one else is really standing out like crazy. And he's finding ways to
Yes.
win for him.
Well, Cincinnati had a good lead. Then the running back fumbles,
Yep.
and the Baltimore scores a touchdown, and then they got their rhythm. They got going. Once they got going, it was a bloodbath for a while. But Burrow brought them back, but you can't do everything. That fumble really changed the game, I think.
Yeah, all the momentum was gone after that. They had a 10
Yep.
point lead, I believe, with like 4 minutes to go in the third. After that, ball game just
Yeah,
completely flipped.
they only scored 7 points the first half, something like 78, 77 yards of offense.
Hmm.
Boy, once they got going, man.
Yeah, and then even with they had a last drive to go win it. The Bengals did, and they got lucky with a few penalties. A few things
Yeah.
went their way to get there, and then they go for it for 2, which, I mean, you kind of got it because you don't expect to go to OT and
On the
still win
road,
that
you
game.
got it.
Yeah, and obviously the refs admitted they missed. They brought in the rules analyst to come in, the um guy that used to ref Mike Pereira or whoever it was this week, but said that they missed the roughing the passer and a holding call on that play. Just devastating. That's like
Uh,
a nail in the coffin for Bengals fans.
what good makes you feel doesn't make you feel any better. You still lost. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times are we going to finish a game? The NFL is going to finish a game on a face mask penalty that doesn't get called. And it's getting so obvious anymore, man. How can they miss it? But they
Yeah.
keep doing it. Not the first
The,
time this year, second time in a row, I think, or something like that.
yeah.
Second week in a row.
On Thursday night, yeah, from the
Yeah, the
Vikings.
Rams.
Yeah. And that's become more prevalent. You see a lot more people talking about how inconsistent the reffing has been this year.
Yeah,
It's been abysmal.
they're just not protecting the quarterback like they used to.
Yep.
Nowadays, quarterbacks can get beat up and they don't get any
Oh,
calls.
well, hold on there. Hold on. Because, a lot of people think that the quarterbacks get away with too much. I mean, there has been some calls.
I
I
don't
think it's
know,
just
not this year.
I think it's the inconsistencies. It's like the ticky tack ones that they do call.
Yeah,
And then you got guys getting face masked,
the
and
obvious ones.
yeah, and it's like those aren't getting called. It's like you can't pick and choose when you want to call it throughout the game. You
Well,
call
I'm
it when
going to
it
tell you
happens.
like it is. Mahomes gets that call every time. That's how he
Yeah.
wins those games in the last second. You don't see Stafford or Burrow getting those calls hardly at all. That's just a few of them. The bigger quarterbacks. The little guys like Mahomes, he's always going to be a reffing darling.
Well, Mahomes ain't no
Way.
little guy, that's for sure. He's a pretty big guy, but
Yeah,
um, Mahomes and Burrow, I mean Burrow and Stafford are both known for like their toughness, so they're not crying after every call like a Mahomes
yeah.
is. But he's a darling of the NFL. They got to protect the face of the NFL right there.
Three-time champion.
And let's talk about that game though, because Burrow, I mean Mahomes and the Chiefs undefeated right now. They should have had their first loss today against Denver. And of course, of all times, they block a field goal,
Yeah.
an easy chip shot field goal to win the game, and they block it.
They just, I don't know what's going on with them. They got the luck of the Irish, and they're not even Irish. Yeah, they've won 4 games this year on the last play of the game. That's crazy. They got the
Yeah,
luck. They're winning ugly, but they're winning. Let's see how that happens. What happens in the playoffs?
and they
Because
got
you
the
know they're
refs on
going to
their
be
side
there.
completely. Yeah, they got the refs completely on their side. I mean, for a lot of it, and I hate to use that excuse. They got a really good team
They
defensively.
do.
They're overall really good, just because they're so well coached. They got Andy Reid, one of the best. I mean, I can use the refs as a full excuse because they're like the old school Patriots teams. They find ways to win, whether you like it or not. They always
Yeah.
find a
Well,
way.
the thing about it is, Mahomes not really playing that good. He leads the league coming into this week. He leads the league in interceptions with 15. And but their defense, man, their defense keeps bailing them out. They
And
got one of the best defenses in the league.
well, I mean, this
Like,
defense isn't much better than last year's defense, though.
yeah. So they're
I
winning
mean,
ugly, but they're winning.
they're just finding ways every week. And I mean, what more could you ask for right
I
there?
know.
And with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, it kind of feels unfair. I mean,
Oh
eventually
yeah.
their offense is going to get going, and they're going to be back to what they were offensively.
He's kind of like another Kelsey. He just gets open. He finds
Hmm.
open spaces in his zone. He can do so much. So it's like they got two Kelseys now. They're both big targets,
Hmm.
and they got Hunt now. They're running back.
Yeah,
You
he's
pick
been
him.
playing really good.
He played all year. Pick him up, and like he becomes a star again. Like what the heck, Kareem Hunt. He just every guy they pick up just fits right in with them.
Well, that's a sign of a really good team. Like you see the
That's a
Patriots
sign
back
of
in
a
the
really
day.
good coach.
Yeah, you can plug anybody in, and if he'll figure out ways to get them involved and change the
Even
style of the
their
offense
week,
around them.
even their first week in the offense, and they throw them right in. And they look like seamlessly. They fit
Mhm.
seamlessly.
And I mean, that's what they did since they drafted Mahomes. Andy Reid, we talked about this the other day, where Andy Reid really redesigned the offense to be more of a college style to what Mahomes was used to when he played
Yeah,
at Texas Tech.
or as a spread offense.
Hmm. It's worked out. And let's talk about now another team where we talked about the coach and quarterback relationship. And last time we talked on here, this team was doing a lot better, but looks like they might be getting figured out a little bit. The Minnesota Vikings. Is it time to panic?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the team getting figured out. It's Darnold getting figured out. He just got to let the game come to him instead of trying to force so much stuff. That's what he's been doing so well. He hasn't made the mistakes, and Minnesota's got a good enough offense that you can just don't make mistakes. That's all they ask of you. But luckily, they got a good defense too, so they still won. So
Yeah. And I mean, today they still found a way to win, and they got a really
yeah,
talented team, but they played horrendously on offense. And that's the thing with Darnold. You got so much talent around you. You don't need to do too much. And you saw him turn
yeah,
over the ball twice in the red zone today. Big time turnovers. Against good teams, you don't win that game.
I know.
Luckily, they're playing the Jags, and they're put it lightly, they're a bad team. But I mean, you
Yeah,
play against like that against another really good team in the NFL, you're gonna lose.
you're not gonna
You can't
win.
turn the ball over like that. Yeah, and he's got such a good defense. Like you don't need to do too much.
Yeah.
and don't need to force it.
That's all O'Connell asked them to do is just don't beat yourself.
Hmm.
Let our defense take over, score enough points to win. And they've been one of the top scoring offenses for a while, just lately. The last 3 games have been a little rough. The Rams brought them back to earth, and they lost a game before that. I'm not sure to who. And they could very well have lost the game today, except they were playing Jones, the Jags' new quarterback,
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Matt
Well,
Jones, man.
well, yeah, the Lions gave them their first loss, and you see Lions tonight
Yeah, that's right. It
struggling.
was the Lions.
But Minnesota, and that's like kind of what you expect to see throughout the NFL every single year. You see teams that start off really hot,
Yeah,
and then every single team gets figured out midseason because there's so many. All these coaches in the NFL are so smart, and eventually, you get figured out one way or another. You're not going to win the same way every week, and
yeah,
so this stretch right here, the middle stretch of the year, is like the defining like part of the year where you see who the good teams are and who the bad ones are. And the good ones, they might struggle for a few weeks while other teams adjust, but
yeah,
they find a response to that. And
yeah,
do they find different ways to win to finish out the year and a different style, little intricacies. And you see a lot of like the best offense coordinators, like the Niners, they'll find little different ways to beat you differently as the year progresses.
yeah,
If you like the Chiefs last year, I mean, their offense looked really bad at this point, looked like they were getting figured out, and eventually they just figure out enough to beat you. They adjust.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if the Vikings completely adjust right here. And speaking of the
Well,
Niners,
yes.
um, they got McCaffrey back today. They snuck out a W against the
He
Bucks.
looks rusty though, but
Well,
just
yeah,
having
you
him there
expect that.
changes their offense.
Yeah, and you expect that him to be rusty. He's been out all year, and who
Yeah,
knows? I mean, he's at a high injury risk being out there. But the Niners, they need. You see how huge he was. Like without them, they have not been the same Niners team as
yeah,
we've seen in the years past. It's always going to the Super Bowl. I mean, his presence, like you said, makes a huge difference. And probably shouldn't have won that game today, but they found a way to sneak it out.
yeah. They're
And
playing the Buccaneers, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and Baker did a pretty good job for a while. They were in that game. They had a chance to win it, but somehow. And the funny part about it was that Debo Samuel, after their kicker missed his third straight field goal, he grabbed the holder or the center by the throat on the sidelines and then pushed
that's cool.
the kicker. He was like, "What the heck you guys doing? You're going to cost us this game." And
I didn't
then,
see
of
that.
course, their kicker wins the game, hits a field goal to win the game. And he's like, "Well, I
Well,
was a little frustrated." Well, yeah, grabbing one of your teammates by the throat, I'd say that's a little frustrating.
yeah,
And
I
then
don't
to
know. I
push
didn't
your
see that.
kicker, yeah, that
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting.
Well, make field goals, man. You know,
Yeah,
lose
he
the game.
did finally, man.
I was,
Maybe it worked.
well, and you think about it too. That's a big game for their season. I think
Oh yeah,
you're
they
playing
would have
against
been
both teams desperate
four
for
and
a
five
win.
instead of 5-4. That's a big difference.
Yeah, and this Bucks team is a lot better than what their record is. I mean, they're
Yes.
rolling, and it it's tough for them because they hit the roughest part patch of their season, like the toughest part of their schedule, right when
Yeah.
everybody started to get hurt. Godwin went
Yeah.
out; he's out for the year. Mike Evans will be back in a few weeks, I
Yeah.
believe. But I mean, this is the toughest part of their schedule for the year, one of the toughest schedules,
Yeah.
and that's when they lose all their guys. Like,
Yeah.
and Baker's been doing all he can. He's been playing.
Pretty
He's had a hell of
well.
a season.
Very well.
He's had a hell of a season. Yeah.
What I
So
love
hats off to
about him
Baker.
is moving around in the pocket so good. He's evading the rush, getting
Hmm.
out, getting away, and then throwing the ball down the field. But when you're missing your two top wide receivers, we know how that can be because the Rams did the same thing and they were 1-4
Hmm.
and they lost them and they didn't look good at all. So you got to have your players. You got to have your two wide receivers. San Francisco, when they were missing a few players, they got so many good wide receivers behind them now. Like um, they got Jensen, who stepped up
Jennings.
since Ayuk has been out. Who's
Yeah,
that
Jamal
rookie?
Jennings. Ricky
Ricky
Pearsall.
Pearsall had a touchdown today. So they're
Yeah.
deep at wide receiver. They'll be all right without Ayuk, but he was a big part of. He was Purdy's safety blanket. for a while there. Now
Yeah,
he's out for a year. You got Debo grabbing people by the throat. So yeah,
I
man.
mean,
But they
it, it
won. But they
yeah,
won.
and that's what you need. Like at this point in the season, you got to figure out a way to get wins. Like they are desperate.
Yeah.
They're not gonna, and actually, I wouldn't say too desperate actually because of the fact that the division really isn't reach. I mean, the Cardinals got a big win today against the Jets, a huge
Oh
upset,
yeah.
honestly. But I mean, do you feel like that division is within reach? I mean, the Cardinals are what 6-4, like they're
Six
not
and
that far
four.
ahead. Yeah.
And they're not taking any prisoners either. They're winning big. So it's not like they're not playing good. They're playing really good. They're not just winning. They're blowing teams out. People thought, oh, the Jets won a game. Now they're going to be nice and loose. They're going to start winning. Oh no, 6 points they scored today. That was crazy. Their defense was supposed to carry them. They gave up what 31. That's just
Hmm.
you can't. Wow.
Well,
Yeah, the Jets are going to have a high draft pick now. That's what they're going to be waiting on is a high pick.
I mean, they have a really talented team. That's why everyone still believes in them because
I
they want
know.
to see them figure it out. They have a really, really talented team. You never know. I think it'd be hard to count them out. One hot streak could change the whole
What are
season.
they? 2-7, 3-7, something like that now.
Probably somewhere around there. Yeah, it's not
Three
pretty.
and seven, I think. Uh, yeah, like they need a hot streak, like 6 or 7 games in a row.
I mean, we've seen Rodgers do it.
Yeah,
Rodgers has
that
done it
was with the
before.
Packers. That was with the Packers with Mike LaFrance.
Matt
They're
Lafleur.
not Kyle. What's that?
Matt Lafleur.
Matt LaFleur. Yeah,
Well, even with Mike McCarthy, and we see him in Dallas, and obviously he's not the coach everybody thought he was. I mean, some of us knew he
yeah.
was not that great of a coach, but I mean, Rodgers, you see when he's done in those times though, like when he gets hot, you never know what can happen in a season. You've had the years where run the table, or
Yeah,
when he says relax in the post game presser, you never
yeah,
know.
I know.
Like
I
he's
know.
had plenty of years like that, and I just think they're way too talented to count out. And as far as the Cardinals, I am not sold on them. I I'll believe it when I see it. They choke every
You know
year
what?
around this time.
I'm sold on them. Six
You're
and
sold on
four
them?
and beating teams bad. Look what they did to the Rams. Beat them like what 35, 39, something like
That was
that.
week 2.
Yeah,
I
and they're
mean,
still going. Everybody says I'm
they
not
lost
in
like
on
two,
them.
two or three
Next
straight
thing you
after that.
know, they're leading the division.
Week that was week 2, and the Rams are missing their whole line and 2 of their
I
best
know.
receivers. That was the first game
Still
to
did it.
adjust. Like they lost 2 or 3 straight after that. Like I'm not sold on the
Yeah,
Cardinals. Kyler Murray does this every year, where all of a sudden you want to believe
not
in them,
really.
and they all choke. Yes, he does. He does this every year where they're
No, not
playing
six
really
and
good at this
four.
point in the
Maybe
season.
once he went six
Even
and
in
four.
21, you want to look at it.
Hey,
They were like 8-1 in week 9. They were 8-1, and they lost like 5 or 6 straight to end the year. This Cardinals team, I'll believe it when I see it. And I'm not sold on their head coach. I don't see the locker
well,
room following a guy like that. I don't know. I don't like him.
yeah.
I don't know if it's
Speaking of
just his
head
face. I
coaches,
don't like that guy.
yeah. But speaking of head coaches, what's the odds Mike McCarthy's going to survive Monday?
Well, knowing Jerry Jones, he might coach another 3 years for the Cowboys before Jerry Jones fires him.
I don't know, man. This was embarrassing
No,
today. It
he'll.
was
I,
totally embarrassing.
I think Jerry wants to let him finish the year, but I mean, it's not going to look pretty. What do you expect? He's got a backup in. Their starters out for the year,
Yeah, he
and so
won
it's not going to
last
look
year
any
for him.
prettier. So yeah, he was talking about letting him finish the year, but I mean, what do you expect? It's not going to look pretty no matter how you put it with the backup quarterback. They're going to get blown
Well,
out
if
no matter what.
McCarthy stays, there's a pretty good odds that his defensive coordinator is gone. I mean, you
Well, that's
can't
the
keep
thing.
giving up 30 some points every game.
McCarthy is not going to
Mike
stay.
Mike
There's
Zimmerman
no
or
way. Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, but
I
there's
don't think he's going to last.
well, yeah, I don't
He's
think
got to
McCarthy's
do
going to last
something.
though.
He's got to shake it up somewhere. And I believe it'll be if he doesn't lose his job, Mike Zimmer will.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about by the end of the year, no matter what, McCarthy's gone. You're not keeping him
Oh
beyond this
yeah,
year. It's just a matter of if they do it before then, between now and the end of the year.
I
But
guess we'll
he's
see.
gone for sure. This is his last year, and Zimmer's gone either
Oh
way
yeah,
too, because the whole staff's going to be gone. But I
I think
mean,
Zimmer's going earlier.
and McCarthy is
I mean,
someone who
their
should have been fired.
defense was halfway good last year for most of the time until they got injuries. But this year they haven't been good since the first week.
McCarthy should have been fired 2 years ago. This is something that's way overdue. Like I don't know what they expected bringing in a guy that only won one Super Bowl with an Aaron Rodgers led team where he won like 3 or 4 MVPs,
Yeah.
and you didn't bring a defense around him, not one time, and you only got one Super Bowl. You wasted one of the greatest careers ever. Like, what did you expect him to do in Dallas? I don't know. And I know
Well, he
Cowboys
won
fans don't know what Jerry
12
sees either,
games
but
for 3 straight years with Dallas. But
well, congrats. You win 12 games. How many Super
I
Bowls?
know
You
that's
give a
why he's
super,
still
you give him the
there.
Lombardi trophy for winning 12 games a year? I mean, give the guy a round of
Yeah,
applause. Wow. Wow.
that's why he's
That's
still there.
impressive.
He just can't win. The Cowboys as a team cannot win a playoff game. That's the
We don't
problem.
pay you to win 12 games a year. We pay you to win in the playoffs.
No, I'm
That's
telling you,
what you play
12
this
games
game
is why
for.
he's still there.
If you were to
12
reward the
games is
team for
why he's
regular
still
season,
there.
he'd be the greatest coach of all time if you reward him for regular season. But we don't play for regular season. Like, what are we
So I'm just
doing?
saying that's why he's still there.
Yeah, and I'm just saying he should have been fired 3 years ago. Like,
He was just barely got hired 3 years ago.
well, you should have fired him as soon as you
Oh, they
hired him.
should have fired him the same day they hired him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Should have known right away
Yeah,
it was no good.
okay.
I mean,
I'll agree
that's
to disagree. Okay.
well, then you're wrong. I'll tell you
I
that
was
right
just
now.
saying he's going to be fired, and now, and you told me he wasn't because he's too good,
I'm saying
and
it's
now we're
between
arguing
now and the
about.
rest of the year. You might as well let him play it out. He's gonna be fired anyways. No
Well,
one's gonna
I
come
guess
in
we'll
and change
see,
the team
won't we?
right now.
Get back
But
to me on Monday. Get back to me
all
on
right, we'll
Monday, and
see.
we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I hope he gets fired before then. I don't think he. I think
Well,
he's
they
had
got
his
to do
job for way
something.
too long.
They got to do something.
But no matter what they do this year, is what I'm saying is this season is lost. You're not
Yes,
gonna
it
fix
is.
anything this year. You're not gonna fix anything this year. It's too late. And if you're gonna fire him in hopes of fixing the season and salvaging it, you should have done it 3 weeks ago. Like the season's over for them. And Jerry Jones is gonna have to do some real reflecting. And I wonder how much as the Lions just threw the Texans just threw an interception. But it makes you wonder. You know, there's gonna be changes in this off season, but how much is Jerry Jones gonna look into like totally revamping the team because they have a lot of good pieces, but it's because they keep basically the same team every year. They maybe add what they do at the trade deadline. Added someone. I don't even know the guy's name. That's my point. They added a bum at the trade deadline. Like, what are we doing? Like, what do you expect to do with the same team every year?
Well, it was Mingo. They had a
Oh,
Mingo.
that's who it was. And at the trade deadline, though, who looked at that was like, oh, maybe the Cowboys stand a chance to make the playoffs now. They added Mingo at the trade deadline. No one. Like, it's I don't know. You see other teams are laughing at him at this point because it's
I
so
know.
and it's so frustrating, even as a non-Cowboy fan, because it's like you have all this money and you have like really one of the best situations to set your team up for success. Like people want to play there. Like it's an iconic franchise. People want to go there. And you have all you need to be successful. It really don't take much. You have all the advantages that you would really need, and you still find ways to lose. I think that's even harder than building a good team and winning. I think it's harder to find a team to just lose every year. And Jerry Jones is good at it. I don't know how he is, but he finds ways. Leave it to him. It's it's just frustrating at this point. It's like seeing the Yankees with all the money that they could buy all the players they want, and they go spending money on guys like Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton who are going to be striking out all the time if they're not hitting home runs. And it's like, well, duh, I could have told you that you're not going to win a freaking World Series with that. That's like my frustration with the Cowboys. It's like you have all the pieces, all the money, and it's like, and you still can't make the right decisions. It's like, what are we doing?
Well, the thing that hurt him was he signed Zeke Elliott back. The guy's done. Basically done. Instead of signing Henry for 6 or 7 million, that running back is playing for Baltimore. You could give him 6 or 7 million. And he'd have a running attack to help the quarterback out. I mean, if you don't have a running attack, your quarterback's going to get hit a lot, and that's what's
Yeah,
happened. Dak's not good enough to carry a team by himself. He has to have a running game. He has to have a defense, and they
I
got
mean,
neither right now.
well, that's the thing is
So
like he
now
don't.
Dak's out for the year probably.
Well, it's like he don't need too much. I mean, he's got CD Lamb, but what else does he have? Like he's got a little bit of a line. It's not what it used to be, but they
But
don't have no run game. What can any quarterback do without that? Like,
well, he's got another receiver. They just picked up Mingo, so
oh, you're right,
that's
Mingo.
their other
How did I forget?
receiver. Don't they
It's
still have Cook? Is he hurt?
he's hurt, but it's like
Yeah.
you got guys every offseason who want to go there, and Jerry just don't pay him. I mean, I know there was Derrick Henry who wouldn't have minded going there at all this last offseason, and then there's a player the year before. I know I'm forgetting. There's a big name player that wanted to go there, and they just did not sign him.
Yeah.
And I bet every Cowboys fan that ends up seeing this would know exactly what I'm talking about. But like that's my point. It's just like it's not that hard to just pay one guy who can make a huge difference for your team, and you just don't do it. It's not like
Yeah.
you're the Cincinnati Bengals where all your money's going to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So it's like, what else can you do? You're gonna have to win with that. It's the Dallas freaking Cowboys. You have all the money you want. I mean, from all the tours that he does at his stadium and his practices, where they're bringing people in to watch these guys work out all day. I mean, you got to have at least a little bit of money to pay somebody like freaking Derrick Henry $6 million a year. Like,
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I'm so frustrated seeing this. It's pathetic.
I know. Well,
Jerry
Dak
Jones is going to threaten
Prescott's
to Jerry Jones is going to threaten to shut down our podcast for what we're saying right now. He's going to come after me.
yeah, the radio station, the DJ.
Yeah.
I know. But well, maybe if Dak wouldn't take 60 million, he'd do something like Brady used to do. Take 50 million or something, 10
But
million, bring
you
somebody in to
don't
help you win.
you don't even
You got
need
to
that.
win. You want to win a championship, you got to give, and you're getting paid 60 million. I mean,
You don't
you
even
got to
need him
just,
to do that. You're the Dallas freaking Cowboys. You got money. That's what I'm saying. You're not the Cincinnati Bengals.
I know.
You got money. Like you can pay more people than Dak. It's not a big deal. Like you can do that. You can afford it. It has nothing to do with Dak taking too much money.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's the fact that they're not paying anybody else at all.
most Cowboy
Anyways,
fans don't even want Dak, so they don't
well,
even
yeah.
like Dak.
Most Cowboys fans don't really know what they want right now, anyways. But
They want a Super Bowl. They want to win one in the play. They want to go to the conference finals at least. Something they haven't done in 20 years.
well, it's not going to happen while Jerry Jones is
No,
there,
it's not going to happen this year.
and they know his son's going to be the same thing. So
Yeah,
I feel for you, Cowboys fans. I feel for you. I really do.
I feel for him,
But
man.
but so moving on before
Yeah,
I get to
let's
I
move
raise my
on.
blood pressure too high talking about the Dallas freaking Cowboys. But
I know they're not even worth talking about. Oh, but they're
well,
America's team. That's why we do it.
they're a
Okay,
big
what
name.
else you got on here?
Well, I mean, we could talk this Texans Lions game right here. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they're just taking turns turning over the ball.
oh yeah,
Texans looking pretty good tonight.
yeah. Once they get some players back, some wide receivers back, but their defense is looking really good too.
Yeah, D'Amico
They're
Ryan's
get
done a great
they're
job for this.
actually getting a lot of pressure on Goff, but right up the middle, which is where you have to get Goff up the middle. You bring it around the side, just steps up. Well, you
He's
bring it
got
up the middle, you can beat Goff.
he's got 5 interceptions tonight. Wow.
Well, there's a lot of game left. There's a lot of
Yeah,
game left.
yeah, he might throw 8
Detroit's
interceptions.
come
You're
back a
right. There's a
lot
lot
of
of game left.
times. Yeah. Yeah, I admit that Stroud's looking a lot better today. He's had a few rough games.
Man, Joe Mixon has been so good for them this year. He's had
When
a
he's
like
healthy,
career year.
he's missed a lot of games this year.
Yeah, but when he's
But
been
when
out,
he's healthy, he can change your offense.
yeah. I mean, and this Detroit team, they've been hot. I mean, they're 7-1 right now.
Oh
One of the
yeah,
best in the league.
they're the
And
ones that are favorites to win it all.
this
Win
is
the
this is kind
NFC.
of I mean, this is kind of a game you expect if not everybody's gonna see it coming, but I mean it's a tough road game, tough environment on a Sunday night.
Oh
And
yeah,
they've been so hot lately winning all these games against good teams. This is one of those games that you're not surprised if it happens. Like looking back, you're like, oh, I can see them dropping that game. And no reason to panic at all. I mean, 7-2, but I mean, they've been playing so good lately, and not everyone's gonna stay up there forever.
yeah,
Like the Falcons. They've been playing really good football lately. They're on top of the world. And the Saints are on the verge of a franchise record, like 7 straight losses. And Derek Carr, second game healthy. It's a divisional game. I mean,
yeah,
it's one of those ones where you could see just somehow Saints pulling it out, and they do.
yeah.
And I know I'm a big Saints Derek Carr supporter, and I said they were going to be really good going into this year. It's a cold take, but season's not over yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we still win 7 straight and make the playoffs. Who knows?
Yeah. I wish
Probably
we
not.
still had our compatriot Buttagoon,
I
on
know.
here. He was ready the first 2 weeks when they were scoring. They
Yeah,
scored 91 points in the first 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you can't find him.
I know. We had to get a
I
hold
hate
of
to,
Bud.
I hate throwing stuff on him like that, but hey, first 2 games, you know, it's all been all downhill from there.
And
So
I feel really bad. I got his hopes up too. I told him before the
I
year
know.
started they're going to be really good. And the first 2 weeks they looked like it, and
Yep.
it's been pretty bad since then. But I mean, Atlanta, no reason to panic there. Some people think that they're not as good as they've had. I think Atlanta's still going to be in there in the thick of it by the end of the year. I mean, Kirk Cousins. I'm a Kirk Cousins guy.
Yeah.
I know you're not. You're a Kirk
Oh,
Cousins
I
hater.
like Kirk Cousins. Just not in the playoffs. He just, I don't know what happens to him. They put an APB out on him every playoff game. Where's Kirk Cousins? Oh, he's over there choking. Better go help him. Give him a
He's not
Heimlich
gonna.
maneuver. That's just. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I like Cousins.
I think He's gonna figure it out. I think this year he's gonna make a run. Might see
But he's
Super Bowl
only
run.
what is he, 6-4 or 7-3? He's pretty good record.
I think
He's
it's six and
winning.
four.
Yeah,
I want to
I
say
mean
six
he
and
is
four. Yeah,
winning. So he had a bad game today.
yeah. And even
It
then, they
wasn't
missed
all
three.
on him though.
Well, yeah, they missed 3 field goals. They really should have won the game.
Oh, they missed three, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, who missed three of them? They needed somebody to go there and choke him in the center. Maybe they would have made one more. I mean, it
maybe.
worked for the 49ers. You just never know. They should watch the 49ers
Yeah,
game, the highlights of it.
maybe you're onto
And
something.
next time it happens, you got to go choke the center and push the field goal kicker around. It works every time.
Ask Debo.
It
That's why
works
you
every
need to.
time.
If you're ever
Look,
missing field goals, get you a Debo to choke the kicker,
look,
and then
look at Debo, man.
you'll be all right.
He
Yeah,
came up with it was his idea, man. He's like, we'll get these guys going.
yeah.
Yep.
Nothing better to get your kicker going than to just choke him out.
Yeah. He'll learn to hike better next time. That kicker, he'll start making some.
Well,
He did. Worked. I
I
mean,
mean, Koo, that's very uncharacteristic of him, though. You don't expect a guy like that. That's one of the best kickers in the
yeah.
league to miss
Well,
3 in a
well,
row.
if he hadn't made that last one, everybody'd be all over Debo, man. But he made it.
Yeah.
So
Well, when
he
you
got
win,
away with it.
you
He
can.
looks like a genius now.
Yeah,
So
he's a pioneer.
yeah. First guy to ever do it and get results out of it.
Yeah, that's how you fix your field goal kickers. He's a
Yeah.
pioneer for it. But
That was probably the best play of his game that today, man.
might have been.
Might have been.
Um, there's another game I wanted to talk about today. I mean, we
Yeah.
talked Jets Cardinals, how embarrassing that was for the Jets. Steelers Commanders,
Oh
how's it
man.
going?
Yeah. We talked that one already.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. You're talking
No,
about the Cardinals quarterback. He's so good. He's always been 7-1 or 6-1 or something like that.
that was the
And he
Cardinals, but I'm
always
talking.
hates.
I said Steelers Commanders right now.
Oh, Steelers Commanders.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah.
I really like Daniels for Commanders. He he wasn't as good as he usually was, but when you score 28 points, you should win. It's just that Steelers scored 29.
No, they scored
You know,
27. Steelers scored 28.
yeah, same thing.
I get what
One
you're saying,
point
though.
win anyway.
I get what you're saying.
And that last throw by Wilson, man. One you say he's over the hill. He's coming 1-3 in a row with him now.
I was a
And that
Wilson
defense,
supporter when
they
they
got
got
a
him.
good defense.
Yeah, I mean they got one of the best defenses in the league, and Jaden Daniels still scored on him, like you said,
Yeah,
27
he
points.
only threw 50%. He only completed 50% of his passes, and he only ran for 5 yards. So the defense did affect him, but he didn't throw any touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't think. I can remember. But yeah, I still really like the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, they're what are they 7-2 right now?
Not what they were until today.
So 7-3.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what
Well,
hurt Dallas. Is their defender, the defensive coach last year, is the
yeah,
coach of the Washington
Commanders.
Commanders. And
Yeah,
boy,
Dan Quinn.
he's been a good coach. I mean, he went to Super Bowl before with Atlanta that year
Yeah,
that they Patriots came back from 21, 28, something like that down.
28-3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
28.
but
Oh, no.
it's great.
They're still having nightmares about that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
that's a Shanahan special. And I love Shanahan. I'm a big Shanahan supporter about how great of an offensive mind he is and great coach.
yeah.
But man, he has blown some big games. And I mean, Debo wasn't even there to choke him. He choked on his own.
See,
But
that's what he needed.
yeah, some
Yeah.
I'm not.
Mhm.
All right, let's move on because I don't want to
Okay.
keep going on that. But Chargers got another win, and I'm big on Chargers. I mean, I don't think they're gonna finish super strong this year or make a run maybe, but I mean, they're gonna have more money next year. They're gonna pay some guys. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, you already got a franchise quarterback. You got one of the best coaches in the league. I love Harbaugh, and
Yeah.
next year, I think Herbert for MVP and Chargers possibly winning the Super Bowl. Like, I'm big on their future.
I know. I know. You've been big on for the last 2, 3 years.
I
And
love
it's
Herbert.
well on Herbert, yeah. But he didn't have that great a game day either. But their defense. And who are they playing again?
Titans,
Yeah,
which I get,
the
but I mean,
Titans.
and Herbert's not gonna have a big year because I
Remember the
mean,
Titans. Yeah,
nobody remembers the Titans. They're trash.
I know. That's what
Will
I'm
the
saying.
only
Nobody
the
does.
only reason I watch the Titans games is to see the Will Levis memes that come out and the faces he makes whenever they lose or he gets sacked. But I mean, Herbert's got no weapons on this team. I mean, they're running back J.K. Dobbins, and I like him a lot because he's overcome a lot to even still be playing. He's overcome some big time injuries, and he's still pretty good. But Herbert's got no weapons. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are gone, and he's thrown to Lad McConkey, who's like,
Yeah,
I get it. He's 5'9". He looks like he's the smallest guy out there on the field to throw to. That's his number one option. And you got Quentin Johnston, who's improved, but I mean, we saw what he did last year compared to other
yeah,
rookie receivers. And Herbert's got nothing. I mean, he's got a great defense. And finally, Harbaugh fixed that defense because for all the talent they had, they were horrendous under Staley,
yeah.
which is a defensive coordinator. That don't make no sense. But I mean, they're going to be really good once they get Herbert some weapons and let him be able to just fully play out himself instead of having to just run the ball all the time. They're going to be real good.
Yeah, I think they will. But Mike Williams, the one they got rid of, who the Jets, who the Jets shipped to
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, scored the winning touchdown today.
Yeah.
A nice
And
catch.
I don't know. I've always been a Mike Williams guy because I've always had him in fantasy.
I like him. Just
I
can't stay
mean,
healthy.
yeah, he can't stay healthy, but and this year he looks like he lost a bit of a step, but I mean, I think the Jets really screwed that one up. I think he was the perfect number 3 guy. If he's your third option on offense, I think you got a pretty good offense. Like,
Yeah.
and I know Rodgers couldn't trust him for whatever reason, but it's like they barely had him. Like he barely got healthy again. And I don't think they really gave him a fair shot before shipping him. But
And speaking of Keenan Allen, how did he look today with the Bears?
I mean, the Bears haven't looked
Their
good.
offense is so bad.
Well, it's
I
their
don't know
head
how long
coach.
that coach is going to stay there either.
That guy should have been fired last year too. I want to talk about
Yeah.
head coaches getting fired.
They were 4-2. One time everybody's talking about how great they were and how good the coach is doing. Now they're 4-5 or 6,
Yeah,
something like that.
he
And
is.
they look lost. That poor quarterback, Williams, he was sacked like 9 times today.
He's on
Oh
pace to
my
be like the
Lord.
6th most sacked quarterback ever in a season.
Yeah.
That poor guy. They're gonna ruin him. They're gonna find a way to ruin one of the best prospects ever to come out of college at quarterback.
Yeah.
Like it's tailor made, fell into your lap. One of the best college quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
And They're gonna find a way to. And this head coach, they need to get rid of him. I don't know if Hard Knocks convinced people that all of a sudden he was a good coach or something, but he has
No.
not been. He should have been fired last year. He was, and this is
Yeah.
bad. Just because he talked to Nick Saban in Hard Knocks, everyone's like, "Oh, maybe he's figured it out."
Yeah.
He's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
He doesn't have an offensive coordinator. Can't remember who the offensive coordinator is, but obviously he's not very good.
It's Shane Waldron.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's exactly
Even the
explains it.
Seahawks fired him.
That says it all right there. But I mean, yeah, Eberflus needs to be fired. You can't waste a
Yeah.
quarterback like that when you got all those weapons at receiver, and DJ Moore, who a lot of people were high on every year. I mean, I'm not completely sold on that guy, but I mean, either way, whether he's talented or not, the way he's been complaining and crying and just showing up on
Yeah.
his quarterback like that, he's a rookie. I mean, you're not helping anything at all.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that season has just been too frustrating. I
Yeah.
think they have
Caleb
to.
Williams has been answered a lot of questions about him. He said they're all the right things. He was right. They need to get him more touches, but I don't know what it is. They're just not in sync, those two.
Yeah, and
DJ
Caleb's
Moore
shown.
is a good wide receiver, but for
Yeah,
some reason, they just can't get it together.
I mean, Caleb's shown flashes too of being really good, and just without an O line, there's no quarterback that's going to succeed. None at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, they'll have another top 10 pick. Maybe they'll pick another lineman this year.
should trade it for a coach. No, I'm
Yeah.
just playing. But yeah, they'll figure it out eventually. I think they got too much talent to not figure it out. Not this
Their
year,
defense
but
is one of the top defenses in the league. That's the only thing keeping them from getting blown out every week.
yeah.
But even then, they can't do it so much because they're on the field so much.
Well,
They
yeah. I
only do
mean,
so much.
I think it says a lot when you're losing to the Patriots. I mean, it's because your offense not scoring points. Their defense wouldn't be giving up any points to that Patriots offense unless they're on the field too much. Like, think about it. There's another head coach that I don't know who's got much longer, Gerard Mayo.
Oh yeah, they're not firing him. Won his third
I
game
don't
today,
know.
didn't he?
I don't know. His third game.
He's won two out of his last three with May. He's
I
not
mean,
going anywhere. Kraft ain't going
look
to
who's been
fire a
playing.
guy.
Kraft is saying there were rumors saying that Kraft might already fire him if it don't get any
No.
better.
Since they went to May, they're 2-1 or 2-2, and May's looked like a quarterback. I mean,
He's
they
showing
beat a
flashes.
really
Yeah.
good team today. Didn't they beat a really good team today? Somebody like Chicago.
Well, that's debatable.
He scored 19 points on Chicago's defense.
Well, when their defense is on the field all the time, though, I mean, what do you
I know.
expect?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, the Patriots defense looked like a really good defense today.
yeah,
One of the top
and
defenses.
they always have a top defense. I mean, they have one of the best young cornerbacks in the game, Christian Gonzalez,
Yeah.
and so they have some really good pieces there. They always do. And Mayo is a defensive guy, but boy,
Yeah.
are they just so boring to watch. Imagine going
Oh,
from
yeah.
the old Patriots teams to watching this. Man, I wouldn't wish that
Well,
upon anybody.
I watch the Boston station. They're getting more press than the Celtics.
Yeah,
I mean,
they will no
you'd
matter
think
what.
they just won a championship or something.
Yeah, Celtics gonna go 82-0, and
All
they're
you
gonna be
hear is
talking about
Patriots.
Patriots
Yeah, they
first thing.
won again
Yeah,
for the third time this year.
yeah, they love
And they
their
were talking about,
Patriots.
they're almost out of the 10th pick. We better start losing again. We're going to lose our top first pick, number one pick of the draft. First they're crying because they don't win. Now they're crying because they're winning. Oh, now we're down to the 10th pick in the draft.
Well, that's Boston
Just
media. You'll never
It's
please them.
Boston, man.
But that about wraps up week 10 right now. I mean, there's more jokes than anything about the head coaching that's around the league, and then Debo choking out the kicker to win the game.
Yeah.
That's
Well, we
some
got
pretty good
Rams
headlines.
Miami tomorrow. Looking forward to
Yeah,
that one. Should be a good game.
I I think it's a
Tua's
bad match.
back. The
I think
Rams
it's a
got their offensive line back now. So
I think
hey,
it's a
that's gonna
bad
be an
matchup for the
exciting game.
Rams.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think Rams are going to get killed. I think it's just a bad matchup. I think Tua and the Dolphins are desperate for a win. They're going to be rolling. I think it's just all set up for probably an embarrassing McVay win. I mean,
Okay.
embarrassing McVay loss. I just got a bad feeling.
Well, maybe we'll come back Thursday and the Dolphins lost.
I doubt
I
it,
guess
but
we'll
we'll
find
see.
out.
We'll see.
It's a as far as the spread goes, I think it's only like 1.5, isn't it?
And I don't know why. I mean, a lot of it will ride on if Tyreek's playing because I guess he might not go. But
He will. You know
I
he
think
will.
I think with their speed at receiver, that's the biggest thing that they have an advantage on the Rams. Might end up being a really good game. I mean, Dolphins are a lot better than what their record is. That's for sure. All right.
All
Well,
right.
with that, we'll close it out. I'll see you Thursday.